I bumped into deaf people that I hadn't seen for ages, a really long time, like 40 years. It was like, where have you been? I'd lost my confidence with travel, but now I've started travelling again. Why? To meet old friends in Reading, Bridgewater, Bristol. Because we want to get involved in days out. We want to meet people and have fun. I was curious to visit other deaf clubs, such as Gloucester, Taunton, Bristol and so on. I wanted to go and see what they do by the way of activities and how they structure things that we could learn from for the future. It's nice to see new faces and have conversations with people. Fantastic. I bumped into people that I hadn't seen for ages, like 40 years ago. Where have you been? You're not on Facebook. It's interesting with the old-fashioned trains. They were fantastic. And you look at the difference in the new ones. I used to go on those old trains before, a long time ago. The technology for the steam trains has improved tenfold now. The museum was fantastic and so much better with the BSL interpreter. 25 years ago, you wouldn't have had this, but now I can access the history and all the stories. The old trains were really long and heavy, made out of metal, and yet still they worked. I used to wonder how that was, especially compared to the present-day trains. Very different. It's nice to fill in those gaps, you're right, and make new links in your knowledge. And we got some really good stories as well. I really enjoyed that. It was fairly smooth. There was a ramp, which was staffed. That was great. And it was easy to book. We did it via an app. I thought it was easy. It was very accessible for deaf people. There was just one issue with the loudspeaker, because when that came on, obviously that wasn't accessible for us. But there was one hearing person who could access it, so we had to rely on them to ask what it was all about. I haven't travelled much since COVID. Really, I lost my confidence. But now I've started travelling again. I would say to add one more line of information on the boards so that you see when you get on the train, it'll tell you where it's stopping throughout the journey, which is fine. But having one more line of information to say if something's cancelled and I need to go to a different platform, number 1 or number 2, for example, I know where to go rather than seeing everybody disappear without knowing why. So it would be nice to add that. The staff need to be better at face-to-face interaction and learn to communicate a bit better, because staff don't really know how to communicate with us. They end up writing things down, which could cause further delays. You could end up missing your train, in fact. There could be some kind of alert or a buzzer to tell somebody that you're deaf on the train, so that the staff would see this alert and they'd be aware that there's a deaf person in the carriage. So then if something happens, there's a cancellation or a delay, they're prepared and can go and find that deaf person and inform them of what's going on, maybe write it down. I'd like to see more regions, because GWR covers a lot of regions. We could have, for example, Cardiff on board, Swindon could be involved, Oxford, because there's lots of GWR regions. I'd like to go to London. I love London. I'd love to travel to London and see some different deaf clubs, like the St John's Deaf Club, for example. I think more of the same, actually, just learning different points. And the steam train learning was great, so really useful to have things like this with an interpreter, so I'd like the project to carry on.